see this? You see this? Watch this. Very barely holding it, jiggling it a bit, it won't come out. Okay? Now you see this? Just look at this. I don't know if you can see this, but look at how dirty this disc is, and oh my goodness, what the heck? Hey guys, it's Madeline here. So today we're going to be reviewing the second EP from the indie band Velvet Starlings. Now, Velvet Starlings, as I've already said before, is a 60s influence indie rock band. The band is led by lead singer and guitarist Christian Gisborne, and all of the vocals and instrumentals on this record were performed by him. Additionally, all the songs were also co-written with his father and manager, Roger Gisborne. On the previous EP, Velvet Starlings EP, we saw a lot of influences from the 60s, obviously, including the Beatles, the Animals, and a few others like Bob Dylan. On that EP, Christian started to develop a reputation of speaking out against things in the world that he disagrees with, such as social media in If Life Ain't Getting High and the government in Sold Down the River. If I'm being honest with myself here, I gave that record a really good score, and I still stand by the score I gave that record, but at the same time, if you really think about it in the long run, If Life Ain't Getting High was amazing, Sold Down the River was amazing, Borrowed Time was really good, and then all the rest of the songs were pretty much just good in their own way, whereas on this EP, everything about it has improved exponentially. The vocals, the instrumentals, even the production, it has all improved so much on this record compared to their first. That's not to say that this was totally a different path for the band. We still see a lot of the same passion and lyrics that we saw in the first EP. One example could be Kids in Droves, where it is also talking about social media overstimulation, like as in Life Ain't Getting You High. Additionally, Bitter Pill and Borrowed Time do see similarities in their 60s influences. As we progress through this record, it seems like we start getting more and more into unknown and new territory. For instance, the record starts off with Bitter Pill, which, as I just stated, is very similar to Borrowed Time and a lot of the other influence we saw on the previous record. And as we go throughout the record, we end with If Life Ain't Getting High and Broken Soul. Broken Soul especially sounding very gritty and harsh and a bit more like Jack White, unlike the 60s, where we're going into more recent territory with the White Stripes. Unlike the previous album, there is no song on this record that I cannot call a masterpiece. Every single song on this record is just so brilliant and clever. It's pretty much what I said about Sold Down the River applied to every single bit of this album. Rabbit and a Gun is probably the best song that Christian has ever written. We know for a fact that Christian is a fan of the Beatles, and this is really where that love for the band really shows. Both I Am the Walrus and Rabbit and a Gun take influences from Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland, and it is very obvious on Rabbit and a Gun additionally that we are talking about I Am the Walrus, because in the second verse he talks about how the music that the people's ears are swallowing should be following the walrus's advice. This song also happens to be the trippiest and most confusing song that we've probably ever heard from him. I mean, it's just obvious. Just go listen to the part after the second chorus where we get a bunch of weird vocal effects, like we hear a little ghoul laughing, it sounds like. We hear him repeating the words in the chorus, and it sounds like we're going through a tunnel and hearing all this. Also, the sound effects of the wolves howling at the end of the verse where he says the wolves are coming out to have some fun. Did you just hiss? That's not nice. And there's just something about this song that makes you really want to understand what it's about. It might just be me that's super confused about it, but on one hand we have a lyric talking about how the music should be following the walrus's advice, such as how we should stop becoming more and more electronic and go back to the good days of music, as a lot of people claim. Or it could also be talking about how humans are hunting animals and animal cruelty, such as the farmer's got a gun, and I hope you know that we're falling down the food chain. I'm not hurting you. And similar to how in Sold Down the River I talked a lot about how the chords at the beginning perfectly simulated the waves of an ocean tossing you to and fro, in Rabbit in a Gun, the keyboard perfectly captivates the image of a bunny rabbit hopping along the trail. No. Okay, now go. This one doesn't like me very much. I just got through 15 minutes of footage before realizing that I didn't push record, and I'm so mad at myself now. I've already talked about how much I love Kids in Droves in detail, but I haven't really talked about my favorite song on this record, Emerald Isle. Let me just give you an example here. I'm going to just play a clip for you of Sway by Michael Bublé.
When marimba rhythms start to play, dance with me, make me sway. And it was like the waves that she moved, she swayed and she grew like the palm trees in a cool breeze.
Do you see the similarities here? Just let me explain. Michael Bublé is probably the best jazz singer that I have ever seen. He has this thing of his voice that makes you want to hear more, and it's seductive in a way. And that's what jazz is supposed to be. Even though this song isn't supposed to be jazz, it's supposed to be rock, the metaphors and images in this song are meant to be seductive. They're meant to be a bit sexual. What are these things that are coming out of my mouth hole? Why do I think this song is so brilliant? Well, just how do you get from writing a song about Catalina Island to writing a song about a girl rising from the sea, dancing with a karaoke tribe, and becoming a ghost until your sadness disappears? I've already talked about in other videos and articles on my Medium that Roger Gisborne has some of the best lyrics that I've ever heard. I don't know how much influence he had on this song in particular, but these lyrics are a lot like the praise that I give to seeing stars. Examples in the song are as the stars came out to play in a rose sangria sky right beside the ocean blue, such a tropical delight. There's also, and it was like a wave that she moved, she swayed and she grooved like a palm tree in the cool breeze. It makes you want to be there. It makes you put yourself in the narrator's shoes and feel like you are there in Christian's world. Also, can I just take a second and applaud Christian on his accuracy here? I mean, I did look it up for an analysis, and the coast of LA, which is where the band is based, and the coast of Catalina Island are 46.9 miles apart. So when he says maybe 47 miles, he really does mean maybe 47 miles. Additionally, this song is based off of the island Emerald Bay in Catalina Island. I've heard in interviews that they often thought that they should change up the lyrics to make it Emerald Bay, but I really don't think you need to, because again, with accuracy, think it's called the Emerald Isle. Also, it makes it seem more mysterious because maybe this could be a whole different island that Christian has created in his head. Obviously it's not, but still, that's what I think of, and it just makes it more mysterious. And the song is already mysterious. I was dancing with a ghost. Here's an example that I often get from my English teachers. Which sounds better to you? A pink sky or a rose sangria sky? Obviously, it's the second one. Not only is it a rose sangria sky that sounds better, but the fact that it's alluding to alcohol. This song is already alluding to alcohol with the bar in the back of the El Galleon. Additionally, because it's about love, sangria is supposed to be a romantic alcoholic beverage, as I've heard correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, but still, roses are still part of love, so it helps create the image even more. Never mind. I don't understand alcohol. It's almond milk, don't freak out.
This is champagne. No, it's not. April Fools. This is water, I swear. Can you verify water, right? Okay, good.
After Emerald Isle, we go right into Karmic Lemonade, which is another very summery type vibe. This is literally just going to be a video. Watch Stealth Heart eat. If you look at a lot of other musicians in the past, we have a big problem with them having huge egos. One example could be Brendan Urie with his song Victorious from Death of a Bachelor. Also from that record we have Emperor's New Clothes, which is talking about how he's taking back the crown as in he's not weighed down by bandmates, he can now do whatever he wants. He's the one at the top, no one else telling him what to do. Additionally, from Meghan Trainor we have Me Too, which she claims to have self-love part of it, but it still has a very egotistical vibe. Who's that sexy thing standing in the mirror? Oh, that's me. Karmic Lemonade harbors more of an I told you so kind of attitude than it does an egotistical or arrogant one. Karmic Lemonade bites back with intelligence and self-respect rather than arrogance. The girl in the song is, in essence, crawling back to the narrator, but he turns her away with a statement that he has moved on and doesn't need her toxicity in his life. This is a lesson we may all be able to learn from. Christian doesn't have the need to prove anything to her. He knows his worth, and whoever the song is directed to, she is not worth his time. Additionally, Karmic Lemonade is a clever metaphor to the idea of karma. While your life may seem sweet right now, it will bite back later with a taste of your own medicine, perfectly resembling the taste of a sweet but sour glass of lemonade. You should try and make the best of the sour situation, but not by pulling others down with you. In a way, My Girl, She's Looking Like a Sip of Lemonade shows that when life gave him lemons, Christian has indeed made himself a sweet glass of lemonade. While Velvet Starlings EP gave us something that was, as I mentioned in my review, riding on the backs of giants, the second EP is more developing Christian's own style and his own voice in music. With songs such as Rabbit in a Gun, or Karmic Lemonade, or even Emerald Isle, even though we can still see influences and similarities with other artists, it sounds more and more like his own thing. Talents improve with age, and as Christian is already starting young, his talents are going to improve as he progresses in the future. And as we see from this first EP to the second EP, this claim is showing to be true. And even though I still think this trend will continue, seeing as how brilliant this album is right now, I think I'm going to be pretty skeptical of their next one. But with that, the rating I'm giving this album is a 10 out of 10. No, not even a 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10. Can I do that? I don't care. This is my video, I do whatever I want. This EP is literally my favorite album, if you can call it an album. I certainly do. And with that, go listen to Velvet Starlings. Definitely check out this EP. It comes out on Spotify on August 29th, if I'm sending out this review before then. And yeah, thanks guys for watching, and remember to play it loud.